Hello friends, I welcome you all to Board and Beyond. First of all, my apologies, my sincere apologies that I could not upload a video for around 4 to 5 days because of my health issues, right? So now I am back, friends. So what did we see in the last class? We saw that we saw some factors, some facts on real numbers, what are integers, what are natural numbers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, transcendental numbers. That is what we have seen, right? So in this class, what we are going to do is that I have picked out some problems, okay, from your previous 10-year question papers as well as your sample question paper and future likely to appear in the examination problems. So we will do this in this chapter or in this session, I mean to say, right? Okay. So friends, here we will start with your flagship question, right? Which is, let's prove root 2 is irrational, right? So how do we prove it? We prove it by a method of contradiction, proof by contradiction. So what do we do is that there is a statement given to us. We assume that the statement given to us is wrong, okay? We do some process and we say that we prove ourselves wrong, saying that whatever we assumed is wrong and hence whatever statement was given to us is right. Okay, so that is how we do it, right? So let's start, friend. So the first question says that let's prove or prove that root 2 is irrational. Correct? So this is what we need to prove. So friends, as I said you, this is proof by contradiction. So what we will do is that solution. Let's assume root 2 is rational. So what happens, friends? The moment we assume root 2 is rational, so any rational number as per the definition can be expressed in the form of p by q or a by b, where a and b belongs to integer, b is not equal to 0 and a and b are co-primes. Correct? We will do that. So root 2 is equal to, let us say, a by b, okay, where a and b belongs to integer, condition number 1, b is not equal to 0, condition number 2, and a and b are co-primes. Co-primes, I hope you have seen my previous video. If at all you have not seen it, I'll give that link in the description. You can basically go and watch that video first, right? So co-primes are those numbers which has got only one common factor, that is equal to 1, right? So they do not share any other common factor other than 1, right? So these are the three conditions, friends, right? Now we can very well write that 2 is equal to a square by b square, squaring on both the sides. Right? Now we can write 2b square is equal to a square. Transposing the term this side. Sorry, this will be b square. Correct? So we can write it here that 2 is a factor of a square. Okay? Now we can also write it as 2 is a factor of a. Why? Because a square is nothing but a into a, right? So if 2 is a factor of a square, then definitely 2 is a factor of a and a both separately as well. Correct? Simple logic. Okay. So we stop it here. Now we have seen here that 2 is a factor of a. Correct? So that means a is a multiple of 2. Correct? Both the same thing. So factors and multiples. So both are not same, but if 2 is a factor of A, then A is a multiple of 2. So can we write A is a multiple of 2? So 2 into, let us say, some integer C, where C belongs to integer. Can we write this here? Any confusion? Anybody? I don't think you should have it. So A is equal to 2C. Now, can we replace A is equal to 2C here in this portion? Here. Let's call it equation number 1 and this equation number 2. So it becomes easier to write. Substitute A is equal to 2C in equation 1. So what happens, friend? This is 2B square is equal to A square, which implies 2B square is equal to 2C whole square. I have substituted it now, right? So this becomes 2B square is equal to 4C square. After squaring it, cancelling 2 on both the sides, so B square is equal to 2C square. So with this statement, sorry, can we conclude that B is a factor of, 2 is a factor of B? Can we conclude that? Yeah. So 2 is a factor of B square, okay? And I'll write here only, and B. Okay, so 2 is a factor of B as well. Now, with this statement and this statement, we will prove ourselves wrong. What did we assume? We assumed that A and B are integers such that A and B are co-primes. That means they do not have any common factor other than 1. But we have proved ourselves wrong, saying that A is a 2 is a factor of A and 2 is a factor of B. So 2 became another common factor for A and B, which should not have happened, right? So with this statement and this statement, we will conclude that A and B, okay, are not co-primes, and hence what we assumed here is wrong, right? So whatever was given in the question is right. Got it? So A and B have 2 as common factor. Hence A and B are not co-primes, and hence root 2 is irrational. You have to write a statement here saying that whatever we assumed is wrong, and hence root 2 is irrational. Okay, so friends, this problem or this type of problem, okay, it may be root 2, it may be root 3, it may be root 5, it may be root n, given n is a prime number. Okay, I hope I have told you in the last class, right? So this type of problem, you must write your comments in the sense your justification for every step. Why are you doing this, right? Because there is no very hard mathematics involved here. It's purely a logic based proof, right? So everything is a logic. So you need to explain at each and every steps to the examiner why is that you are doing this, or what have you done here, okay? And with this statement, how do you conclude that these two are not co-primes and all that, right? You got it? So this is one of the easiest problem which actually keeps repeating, right? Okay. So can we move on to the next problem, friends? Yeah. Okay. So I'll just rub it off. I hope you have understood the concept here, friends. Now, let's take up one more problem. Before that, or actually, let's take root m, okay, is irrational given n will create a confusion. Let us not take m. P, okay, root p is irrational given p is prime. Given p is prime number. Right? The proof or the steps of the proof remain same. Okay, I'll go a little fast on this. So, let's assume the root p is rational. So what happens? Then we will be able to write it like this. Correct? Okay. Where conditions a and b belongs to integer, b is not equal to 0, and a and b are co-primes. Got it? You must and should write these comments, these conditions, right? Okay. So squaring both the sides. I'm not writing it, friends. Okay. So this becomes only p, and this becomes a square by b square. Correct? So this we can write it as p into b square is equal to a square. Right, means? Right? Okay. So that means p is a factor of a square, right? Which also implies that p is a factor of a, right? So since p is a factor of a is a multiple of p, a is a multiple of p, so a is equal to, let us say, c into p, where c belongs to integer, right? Now substitute this here, same process. It's completely same process. There is no CP, right? So C square, P square, right? So cancelling P and P, both the sides, is equal to C square into P, right? So can we write P is a factor of B square now? P is a factor of B square or B, correct? So P is a factor of A and P is a factor of B, okay, which should not have happened because we assumed A and B to be co-primes. That means they should not share any common factor other than 1, but they are sharing other common factor that is equal to P. Hence our assumption is wrong and root P is irrational, right? Okay. So it was actually on the same lines. So basically I have not written any commentary or any justification, right? But in the examination please do write, otherwise you will not get full marks, right? Okay. So we will see small this thing, friend. Okay. So you might have studied earlier also. So let me just repeat it here. Rational number plus rational number. Rational number plus rational number is what kind of number? Is always a rational number, right? Right, friends? Now, rational number plus irrational number is what? Rational plus irrational is always equal to irrational number. I'll tell you why I am telling you this. Okay. Now irrational plus irrational. Irrational number plus irrational number is what? Irrational number plus irrational number is always an irrational number. Right? Now, similarly, irrational minus irrational will be irrational only. Right? Now, let us look into a condition. Let us say rational into irrational number will be what? Rational into irrational number will always be an irrational number. Right? Mostly, in most of the cases, friends, whenever irrational number appears there, it will be irrational. Right? Okay? In most of the cases. So, there is only one exception to it. Irrational number into irrational number will be what? Here is the question mark. Irrational number into irrational number will be either a irrational number or a rational number. It can be both. For an example, root 3 into root 3 is equal to root 9, which is equal to 3, which is a rational number. But root 3 into root 5, both are irrational number. Multiplied root 3 into root 5 is root 15, which is an irrational number. So, irrational number into irrational number can be either rational or irrational. Okay? Either rational or irrational. Got it, my friends? Similarly, irrational number divided by irrational number. Same. Irrational number divided by irrational number. Okay? So this can be either a rational number or an irrational number. For an example, root 5 divided by root 5. Both are irrational. But your quotient here, that is equal to 1, which is a rational number. Correct? Now, similarly, irrational number, let us say root 9 by root 11. What does it give you? It gives you root 9 by 11, that is 3 by root 11, which is irrational number. Got it? So, you have to be careful only in these two situations. Otherwise, wherever irrational number appears, your final answer will be irrational only. Right? Now, why did I tell you all this? There must be some logic, right? Why did I tell you all this? Because during the examinations, or I have seen in previous question papers, how it happens is, let us say 5 plus root 3, prove this to be an irrational. 5 plus root 3. We definitely for sure know that rational plus irrational is equal to irrational. So this is a rational number. Okay? So we have got a confirmation here that this is an irrational number. Tomorrow in the examination, let us say it comes 7 minus root 3 divided by 2 or divided by 2 root 3. What is it? Is it an irrational number or a rational number? Right? So, you see here 7 minus root 3. That is rational minus irrational. Rational minus irrational, have I done it? No, let us do it here. Actually, it's the same thing. So, I skipped it. Okay, so my top is irrational number, right? And bottom is rational into irrational. Rational into irrational is irrational number. Bottom is also irrational. Now, irrational divided by irrational irrational divided by irrational number can be either rational or irrational. So we need to basically, what do we need to do? We need to multiply, okay, with 2 root 3, okay, on both the sides. Sorry, on numerator and denominator. We have to neutralize this fraction, right? Okay, and then we will find out. So these are the certain situations wherein this will come in handy to you. Okay, so if you want to take a screenshot, you can take it now. There are certain things which I have left here, okay, which you can basically put your own logic and then write it further. Right, friends? Okay, so I have so this is, it is not visible, so it can be either rational or irrational. Okay, okay. So I will just move it. So now, friends, what we are going to do is that you will see a small question: the LCM of 2-digit composite number and smallest composite number. So what is a 2-digit composite number? So what is composite number first? Composite number is a number which has got factors more than 1. That means they should have it is just opposite to prime numbers. I hope I have told you in the last class, right? So prime numbers are the numbers which has got only one common factor, that is 1 in itself, right? So if a number is having a factor more than 1 in itself, okay, or any other factor other than 1 in itself is called a composite number. So 1, no, 2, no, 3, no, 4. Yes, 4 has got a factor of 1, 4 and 2. Correct? So 4 is my smallest composite number. Composite number is 4. Now, what does it say? Smallest 2-digit composite number. So 2 digits starts from 10. So first we will check 10, whether 10 is a composite number. So 10 has got 1 as factor, 10 has got 10 as factor, 10 has got 2 as factor, 10 has got 5 as factor. Yes, this is a composite number because it is sharing two factors more, that is 2 and 5, which is apart from 1 and itself, right? So smallest 2-digit composite. Right? So now the things are very easy. You are expected to find an LCM. Okay? So LCM will be 20. Right? LCM is equal to 20. I am not finding it out here. Okay? Yeah. So the trick part was only this. Now, one more important concept which comes here generally, LCM into HCF is equal to product of the two numbers. Okay? So LCM into HCF is equal to product of two numbers. Right? Or number 1 into first number into second number. Okay? So this is an important concept. There are problems which appear in the board examination on the basis of this concept, right? Okay. Which we will be getting it cleared in the next 1 or 2 examples more. Now one more question has appeared, friends. Can two numbers have 15 as their HCF and 175 as their LCM? Okay. So let me just draw a line. So can 15 be HCF and 175 be LCM? So in the question, I'll just read out the question exactly to you. Can two numbers have 15 as their HCF? There are two numbers A and B. Okay. So HCF of A and B is equal to 15 and LCM of A and B is equal to 175. Now in the question they are asking, is it possible, can two numbers have 15 as HCF and 175 as LCM? Okay, so this was the question. Okay, now one more important concept that you should take away from me today here is that HCF of any two numbers should exactly divide the LCM of these two numbers. Okay, right? So no, we will do it here only. So first we will see LCM divided by HCF is equal to how much? 175 divided by 15. Okay, so does it divide exactly? 1? No, it comes in fraction. 1, 25, so 1, 10, 11.7 it is coming up to, right? So friends, what is happening is it should divide exactly. So since this is not dividing exactly, so this statement is not true. There are no two such numbers which can have HCF as 15 and LCM as 175. So answer is no, right? Okay. Next, let me, okay, there is a space, no problem. So can 4 raised to power n end with digit 0 for any natural number n, right? So they say that 4 raised to power n ends with 0 for n belongs to natural number. For n belonging to natural number, any natural number, right? So friends, this type of questions, what we do is that whatever is the question given, we try to break it into powers of 2 and 5. So can this be written as 2 square whole raised to power n into 5 raised to power 0? Correct? So 2 raised to power 2n into 5 raised to power 0. Right? So see here, the power of 5 and power of 2 are not same, or we will not be able to express it in the form of 2 raised to power n and 5 raised to power m. Correct? Okay. So I am not able to express that. Hence, for no natural number, 4 raised to power n will end with 0. I hope I have given you the concept. You have understood the concept. So for this kind of things, what we do is that we first try to express this in the form of 2 raised to power n and 5 raised to power m. Okay. So that is how we do it. So there will be a few questions which will be coming up next, okay, wherein we will try to find out whether this will end with 0 or not. Okay. So yeah. Now I will clear up the board and then we move forward. So next problem, what does it say? 3 bells tolls at an interval of 9, 12 and 15 minutes respectively. Right? They start tolling together. After how much time will they toll next together? Right? 9, 12 and 15. So we just need to find out LCM of these 9, 12 and 15. Because they have started tolling together. So LCM is the time after which they will again toll together. Right? So you can apply this. 15 not divisible, 15 to the 30 not divisible, 15 3 is 45 no, 15 4 is 60 not divisible. So it's going long. So basically do this activity 3 3 3 4 3 5. So 3 and 5 we can do nothing, 4 and 4 also we cannot do anything. Yeah, so that's it. 9 into 4 is 36 into 5 is 180. Right? So this is after 180 minutes. They will toll together after 180 minutes. That means after 3 hours. After 3 hours they will toll once again together. right? The length, breadth and next question. The length, breadth and height of a room are 8 meter 50 centimeter. Length is equal to 8 meter 50 centimeter. Breadth is equal to 6 meter 25 centimeter, and height is 4 meter 75. Right? Okay. So find the length of the largest rod that can measure the dimension of the room exactly. Right? So how do we do it? We need to find the HCF here. Okay? So HCF will be HCF of 8, 50, 6, 25 and 4, 75. Right? So what I generally use to find out HCF, the method is that I do it by factorization. Right? So 850, can this be written as 190 into 5? No problem, right? 999. There is a problem. 170 into 5 it is. Yeah. Then 170 I can basically break it, divide it by 5. So 5 3s are 15. So 34 into 5 into 5. So this is basically how much? 17 into 2 into 5 into 5. Right? So 10 into 85. Correct? So after this I don't think we will be able to break, because 17 is a prime number. 625 we know it is 5 into 5 into 5 into 5. Correct? No? 5 into 5 is 25, into 5 is 125, into 5 is 625. So this 5 into, so 5 into 19 into 5. This also we cannot break it further. Now, what is that is common in all this? 1, 1 and 1. So 1, 5. I bring it here. What is the common? Next 5 is also common, right? 1, 5. I bring it here. That is equal to 5 into 5 is 25 centimeters. Right? So the maximum length of the rod which can exactly measure all the dimensions is 25 centimeters. Okay? So please don't get confused. This is basically a real number problem. So basically you need to find out HCF here. Right? Okay. So one more important concept. Next I will tell you before we actually wind it up. The decimal expansion of the number this will terminate after how many decimal places? Right? So question is how much? 14587. 14587 divide by 1250. We need to find out after how many places this expression will terminate. Right? So after how many digits terminate after dash decimal places. Okay. So friends, what we are going to do is that the denominator we are trying to express it in the form of 2 raised to power m and 5 raised to power n. So what I am going to do here is that you can just see this can be written as 14587 divided by 5 into 5 into 5 into 125 into 10, that is 5 into 2. Correct? Is it all right? Yeah. So we can write it as 5 raised to power 4 and 2 raised to power 0. Correct, friends? Now what I am going to do is that I am going to equalize this. I want this 0 to become 4. 2 raised to power 0 to become to 2 raised to power 4. In that case, what I am going to do is that I am going to write it something like this, my friends. 14587 divide by 5 raised to power 5 raised to power 4, 2 raised to power 2 raised to power 1, not 0. Sorry, please, because 0 will become 1. I'm so sorry. So 2 raised to power 1, right? Now what happens is I want this 1 to become 0. So what I am going to do is that I am going to multiply top and bottom with 2 raised to power 3, right? As per the law of exponents, when the base is same, powers get added, right? 14587 into 8 divide by, now it is 2 raised to power 4 and 5 raised to power 4. Correct? I have done like this. Now what happens is you can basically multiply it also, or since we just have to find out the number of digits, so this can be expressed as 14587 divided by 2 into 5 raised to power 4. Correct? That is 10 raised to power 4. Sorry, into 8 is also there. If we multiply, then it is better. We can write the result also. We can write the answer also. We can write the value. Okay, let us multiply. Divide by 10 raised to power 4 is nothing but 10 raised to power 4, right? Okay, so now after how many decimal places does it end? 4, because there are 4 zeros, and if at all you are expected to find the value of this, then value is 82.3862. Correct? I hope you got the concept. So in this type of problems, what do we do, friends? We do is that we try to express the denominator, okay, in the form of 2 raised to power m and 5 raised to power m, right? So if at all it is not equal, make it equal by neutralizing it, by multiplying the numerator and denominator with the same quantity, 2 raised to power 3 in this case, right? Such that this becomes 2 raised to power 4, and that is powers of 2 and 5 becomes same. Then make it like this. 2 raised to power 4 into 5 raised to power 4 is nothing but 2 into 5 raised to power 4, right? Then we can express it in the form of 10 raised to power 4, which is equal to this. Then do the actual division. You can write after 4 digit it will end, or you can write the value as well. If they ask you the value, what would be the value? What would be the value of this? So the value of this is 82.3862, right? One last problem, friends. With this we will close real numbers. The problem says, write whether 2 root 45 and plus 3 root 20 divide by 2 root 5. They are asking us to find out whether this is a rational number or a rational number, right? Okay, so what we can do, friends, I am just going to represent it, 2 root 9 into 5 plus 3 root 5 into 4 divided by 2 root 5. I hope you understood this. I have just expanded it. 45 inside and this. So can this be written as 2? This 3 comes out from here and root 5 is left behind. I hope you don't have a confusion. You should not, please. Okay. So 3 into 2 root 5 inside. Divide by 2 root 5. You are getting my point? This 4, I have taken it out as 2. This 9, I have taken it out as 3. So this gives us 6 root 5 plus 6 root 5 divided by 2 root 5. Right? Now, when we are adding 6 root 5 and 6 root 5, okay, so this will be 12 root 5, you can say. You are getting my point? Because what I am doing is that I am taking 6 root 5 as common, or root 5 as common, so 6 plus 6 is 12 divided by 2 root 5. Okay, so now this and this cancels, and this we are left with 6, which is rational. Right? Now come back to that 4-5 lines which I had written here, different conditions. Okay, so friends, this is an irrational number because one 5 is involved here and one 5 is involved here, correct? So irrational plus irrational is equal to irrational. Correct, friends? Irrational plus, I'll write it here. This plus this is nothing but irrational. Because what did I say you? Irrational plus irrational will be irrational only. Divide by, again this is an irrational number. Now please remember my condition. Irrational divided by an irrational can be either irrational or irrational. In this case it is rational. You getting my point? There are certain situations when irrational divided by an irrational number will be a rational number. Irrational number. Sorry? Okay. So that's the thing. So what do we do? Yeah. So I hope there was some problem with the video for a few seconds. So please adjust with that. Okay. So with this we actually close it, friends, here. So there are no more concepts to be told you, okay. So with this I close the session here, friends. So I hope you have learned few concepts from here today. You have taken away few concepts, a few new problems, and what kind of questions has been asked in the examination and how do we tackle it, right? So I have not done multiple examples. I have taken few difficult examples from each section and try to solve it here and give you the concept, right? So with this we close the chapter rational numbers, right, friends? And we can say that we have closed mathematics for 10th standard CBSE now in English, right? So let's look forward to next session, right? So till the time we meet, I'm closing it, friends, right? So till the time we meet next, be happy, be safe, keep learning with us, stay tuned with us. Okay, thank you so much. Make your parents proud, study well, all the best. Thank you. Bye.